Hello everybody, welcome back to a freestyle body balance inspired workout delivered in the comfort of your own home thanks to the good graces of Monash Council. My name is Andrew, and if you are injured or pregnant, please do follow the advice of your healthcare provider and mindfully adjust any moves or any things that I suggest for you to do in this class format. One of the advantages of this class format is the convenience of your home access, but one of the disadvantages is I can't see you to be able to give you live interactive feedback on how you're moving. So you're going to need to be the master of your own domain, master your own body, and think, oh, maybe this move isn't quite what my body needs specifically, and maybe I can adjust it in this way or that way to make it beneficial and not unbeneficial. There we are. So please do adjust and be a complete mindful member of your own body and look after yourself as we go through this sequence. So we're going to do a bit of a mobility and Pilates inspired flavour today. We'll start out with some Tai Chi and some yoga to get ourselves warm, and then we're going to see if we can intelligently get our brain controlling the right parts of our body to create mobility and strength where we need it, and to do things like look after lower backs and knees by taking the pressure that they otherwise are experiencing and putting it in the parts of the body that are better able to handle them, like the mobile hips and the strong glutes and the center of our experience. So let's take our feet nice and wide, our knees nice and wide, sit light and tall, tuck our tailbone under slightly, and then from this tall position, move side to side like we're painting an imaginary fence with the back of our wrists. So over to one side, and over to the other side. Now, although we're moving our wrists, spend a moment to think about moving from your hips. So achieve your sideways movement, not by keeping your hips stuck in the middle and leaning to each side, but instead by staying upright through the middle and bringing your whole body across as one unit. Like you're sitting on a wheelie office chair and you're sliding from the phone over to the computer and then back for your coffee. So as we slide, let your wrists glide. And if you let your elbows sink that little bit, you'll feel an immediate response in your shoulders and upper back, almost like you're getting a massage in the comfort of your own home, just by letting go of habitual tension back there. Now, as you get to each extreme, allow your upper body to turn. So turn through the upper back in a way that doesn't make the lower back feel like it's doing any unnecessary twisting. So you swivel like you got a headlight or a searchlight and you're searching across the room with your chest, not with your belly button. You'll find just by keeping your hips level through the middle, your legs are getting warm and your hips are getting a stretch, particularly keeping the knees wide to each side. Now, as you get to one end, pause for a moment, draw back and push. So across we go. Draw back and push. Inhale on the draw and exhale on the push. Just like a wave breaking over a beautiful beach, swelling in and then smoothly gliding out, washing across the golden sands. Now, when we get to the middle, take a moment to pause and draw a halo around the top of your head, and then continue the rest of the way. So inhale, exhale, breathe in and breathe out. So 2 full breaths to complete one smooth movement sequence. As you draw this halo, don't pressure yourself to make the halo any bigger than you want it to be. Allow your lower back to feel safe. No need to overreach behind the back of your head at all. As you mobilise, you may find your halo grows a little bit bigger all by itself, but let it be a yielding, accepting, natural experience, not one that you're forcing. Because the best way to keep the lower back safe is to move in ways that make the lower back feel safe and feel like it is not unnecessarily jamming or extending. Okay, we'll do one more each side. And the last one, we will savour our breath. Slow and sweeping, beautiful and smooth. And then bring your hands back into the middle, roll your shoulders back, and we are warm. Now, if you have a mat for the sun salutations, go to a sun salutation yoga sequence, which is a bit of a beast of a sequence, but luckily it's regular, it flows, so we'll learn it for the first time each side, and then we'll experience the smoothness of the moves one more time each side. If you haven't got a mat, no dramas, use any part of your floor. The whole world can be one mat for you. But if you do have a mat and you want to stand on softness, come to one end of the mat and have all the softness and snugness out behind you. So that way when you lunge back, you land on the mat that you intend to land on. So as we come here, bring your toes together, your knees together, close the legs, squeeze the butt slightly, stand tall through the back of the neck, and stand a bit like a toy soldier, chest up and proud, shoulders back, standing like you're a mountain, because this is mountain pose. So pose like a mountain, and then as you breathe in, reach your hands overhead for an extended mountain, raising a flag on the top of your Everest. Then bend your knees a little bit before we breathe out and forward fold. And as you forward fold, tip from the hip and keep the back as straight as possible for as long as possible before you fold all the way down to the floor. Now bend both knees generously and lunge backwards on one leg, maybe your right leg, and then melt your hips into a lunge and take your eyes horizontal in front of you. Then press your palms to the floor, shoulder width apart, and step back with the other leg hip distance apart and make a big triangle called downward facing dog. Bring your nose towards your toes, feel your elbows by your earlobes, and now from here, launch forward, dropping to your knees straight away just for the first round to let your body get used to the pressure of this. Close your pelvic floor, make sure your belly feels like it's hanging from the roof through a string in your belly button. And then with your elbows snug and narrow, slowly melt down just halfway to the floor. So avoid going with the chicken wings to the side. Instead, bring the elbows back and touch the ribs lightly, keeping the body as straight as possible. Then melt your hips to the ground and squeeze and roll your shoulder blades back to what we call a baby cobra. So you're igniting the strength of your back muscles, pulling the shoulder blades in and letting your chest feel a bit like a speedboat, proud cutting through the water. Then tuck your toes, push your butt high, return to downward facing dog. Long through the back, long through the arms, and now bend both knees and then lunge that foot you step back with forward. So in my case, my right foot, and if it does get all the way forward, awesome. If you find it gets stuck on the way, then reach back, give it a helping hand so that your ankle is directly underneath your knee, your shin is vertical. Then melt hips, horizontal eyes, drag the rear foot in, forward fold, knee touching knee, big toe touching big toe. Then breathe in, reach up tall, stretch for the ceiling, breathe out, hands coming around behind your back. That was one. Let's do it again on the other side. Inhale, reach up tall, extended mountain, bend knees first, back straight as possible for as long as possible. Breathe out, forward fold, diving down, fingers next to toes. Then bend knees, lunge back on the other leg, left in my case, lower into the lunge, leveling out the eyes. Palms down, hips shoulder width, step back hip width, downward facing dog. Really stretch the full length of your back and arms here. And then launch forward. This time, knees or toes on the floor, pelvic floor closed, belly button levitating your entire lower back area. Then come down slowly and snugly. Elbows brushing ribs, not facing to the walls, brushing ribs, floating down. Then hips to the ground. Maybe go for that speedboat baby cobra, or if your back feels like it's got some movement in it, push into an upward dog, but not so that it jams the lower back. So no need to try and straighten the elbows. Let the arms stop wherever they feel comfortable. Roll back through the shoulder blades and try and go high beam through the front of the middle of your chest. Then tuck your toes, push back to down dog, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, step the left foot through, or the foot that you step back with, melt into the lunge, and then drag your other foot through. Zip the legs up together, forward fold, then rise to the ceiling, hands behind the back, and let's have some fun and flow with this. We'll do one more each side, smoothly and continuously. Inhale, reach tall. Bend knees a little bit, exhale and fold. Bend knees, right leg lunge back, deep hips, relax shoulders. Press palms, downward facing dog, sky high tailbone. Belly strong, come forward, knees or toes, plank. Then when shoulders over wrists, crocodile, halfway down, just like you're submerging your eyes under the water. Then hips to the floor, baby cobra or upward facing dog, lower back happy. Tuck the toes, push the butt high. Downward facing dog, lunge forward with help if you need to, foot between hands, and other foot comes in behind, toe to toe forward fold. Breathe in and breathe out. Final round. Inhale, fingers to sky. Exhale, forward fold. Left leg lunge, back and deep. Palms down, downward facing dog. Exhale, tailbone to the sky. Inhale, plank, strong belly, long shoulders. Exhale, keep the strength, be slow and enjoy it. Hips to the floor, mobilize and rise. Exhale, tuck and push. Then left foot forward, lunge it smoothly, melt into the lunge when you get there. Exhale, foot to foot, knee to knee, then up we come. And celebrate by spreading your entire chest across the ceiling, wall to wall. Okay, so we are now voluntarily warm. Let's do some Pilates. So I'm going to start out by doing a bit of neural work by our brain's ability to control our butt muscle. At least half of your strength is your brain's ability to use the muscles that it's got, as opposed to the actual fibers of the muscles themselves. That's why you sometimes see small, compact people who are really strong, and the opposite. So let's be someone who gets the most benefit of the muscle we have there, and the more we can learn to use our butt, the stronger and more endurance and more effortless movement is in every respect through the world. It literally is the keystone to our forward drive through our entire body. So we're going to start to make a bridge. Have your feet hip distance apart, natural knee bend. If you find the back of your legs get a bit uncomfortable, then consider moving your heels closer to your butt as we go through the movement sequence. Then with your back down, before we move, remember the key to this is cannonball butt cheeks. Yes, you can probably lift your hips in the air, but can you make your butt cheeks of steel and then levitate your hips in the air like they weigh nothing? So, are you ready? Breathe and squeeze, then lift your hips up in the air into a bridge. Make sure your back doesn't feel uncomfortable, so don't go so high if the lower back complains, but do float as high as you can comfortably float, noticing the butt squeeze creates that lightness and that height. And just to practice with that, what you can do is you can take your fingers, give yourself a bit of a poke. If you're poking cannonball steel, good. If you're poking mush, use the fact of touch to focus your mind on that part of your body and see if you can squeeze and tighten and intensify the muscle activation everywhere around your own butt. Because after it's your own home, no one can see you doing it. You can fondle your own butt until every part of it is squeezing the way you like it to squeeze. Now for bonus points, take an imaginary macadamia nut, put it up between the butt cheeks and break it open and let the dust fall down in your mind's eye to the floor. You'll find as you do that, you might even find your inner thighs rotating upwards to the ceiling slightly and your hips feeling even lighter. Okay, let's float back down to the floor. If you need a rest, that's all good. If you don't need a rest, that's even better. And now let's do the same thing. So drive high to the sky. And now if you want to, you can clasp your hands together underneath and then roll your shoulder blades together and help actually lift and pop your chest through your chin as well as your hips to the sky. Now you might find this is a maximal effort, and if that's the case, awesome. You're training your body to really use the best and most powerful muscle for strength and endurance, your mighty glutes. If you feel like you've got it in you though, what you can do is maybe lift one knee off the floor. Now, how do you know whether to have done that? If the act of lifting it makes you go whoa and droop down, then maybe that's not an appropriate challenge. You want to make sure whatever we do here that you feel that sense of strength and you get that sense of reward. So your body goes for feedback. It goes, you know what? When I strengthen this muscle, when I hold it strong, my hips feel light and I feel great doing this. So if you have one leg in the air, put it down. Other leg, you can lift it up in the air and see if the butt cheek on one side can do the work at two. See if you can keep it here with no loss of altitude and no loss of butt cheek attitude. Down to the floor. And now, with breath, we can alternate each side about 2 or 3 times. Inhale and lift. And exhale and fall. Now, actually, the breath sequence you can do it many different ways. Some people in Pilates like to move just on the exhale or just on the inhale. In real life, you often have to move and breathe independently. So, being able to do in any combination has its merits. So, just for timing purposes, you can move on your breath, or you can move because you feel tired, or because you don't feel tired, and you want to savor and hold on for a little bit longer. All right, one more on each side. He says as he's just finishing up this side. You need to finish up one, finish one up, and then bring your spine down to the floor, either by rolling it or by coming down straight, whichever feels more natural to you. Okay, so now let's roll over and set ourselves up in all fours. Now, all fours is a very underrated exercise. It's, when done mindfully, is exceptionally good for your shoulders, for your abdominals, and for your balance. So the first thing you want to seek out is that greyhound feeling through your belly. Instead of feeling as though your belly's hanging out of your lower back and creating a dip there, imagine you've closed your pelvic floor, so you're drawing, you're stopping the flow of wee, or I like to think you're coming into an ocean and just having the cold water touching the pelvis, and you recoil, that sense of drawing in. You'll find it'll make your belly go greyhound and lift at the same time, and then support your lower back. And then at the same time, roll your shoulder blades back together and actually lift the nape of your neck like you're a proud war horse. So instead of having your shoulder blades hanging up above and away from your back, they go and they flatten against the upper back, and you feel strong in the upper body and also greyhound strong in your belly. Now from here we'll go for a pointer. So we'll destabilize one limb at a time. If you want to keep more limbs on the floor, please do so. But you can take one arm and just bring it up past your ear. And then on the other side, if you choose to, you can trace your leg back, your toe back, with your toe on the floor. Now at this stage, still do try to keep that sense of balance through your belly button and do what we call cross-linking, taking this shoulder and this hip and drawing an imaginary X through your body and then tightening that X through the belly button. It'll draw the shoulder back, it'll level out the hip all at the same time. And if you feel good, you can even lift that foot off the floor and have a bit of a balance exercise, stabilising the arm, stabilising the leg, and then for bonus points, just for fun, instead of going north-south, you can go northeast, southwest, and go 45 arm, 45 leg, for a few breaths of joy before returning to all fours. Same thing other side. So arm up next to ear, other arm. Now, you notice what I'm doing. I'm glad I pointed this out. See how my elbow is hyperextended and the joint's putting forward? That's a bit naughty. Bend the elbow slightly, allow the joint to sit naturally, so the strength of this is taken in the arm muscles rather than jamming it out through the joint. And then slide back. You'll find you've got to be vigilant. Your body goes, I can straighten this out and take the pressure off the muscles. But we want the pressure in the muscles because that's what we're trying to train. So lifting the heel if you choose. Going for the stability. If you feel wobbly, think around the center of your gravity, center of belly button. Going 45 arm, 45 leg if you choose. Noticing the delicious warmth through the hips. The strength and the balance challenge. Much of the balance and strength coming together as your body works to stabilize around joints. Like for example, this misbehaving elbow. And back we go. Okay, take a bit of relief. Spread your knees apart slightly. Set your butt back onto your heels. Spread your chest into the floor. And allow the feeling of stretch to come into the side of your body. Okay, let's have another challenge. We'll come side on. Now, to make nice stability feeling in your shoulder, place your elbow wisely. If you find that your bottom shoulder feels a bit sheared, as though it's sort of falling out of its socket, then get the elbow directly underneath so you feel like the pressure, you can hold the shoulder in the socket rather than having it feel like it's trying to escape and point out to the side. And the beautiful thing here is just in this position, you can already get quality abdominal work without necessarily too much intensity. Just avoid that hammock drop. So hang on, I'll just tuck my t-shirt in here so you can see sort of the underside. So instead of having a hammock here, make a triangle. So actually consciously lift your rib cage and go straight head to hip. And if you take your fingers, you find you can poke in the space between the ribs and the hips, and you feel your abdominals are fully switched on, just holding this position. So if you find any of the options that are coming too intense or too uncomfortable, no dramas. You're already winning in this position right here. Brain, engaging muscle, getting some abdominal strength through the side area, which is always good for us. If you feel like you can or want to, you can, instead of resting on your hips, you can rest on your knees. Again, it's just the same feeling but more intense. You'll feel the abdominal pressure there. You might feel some shoulder pressure there. Be really careful that you've got the elbow directly underneath. And the way to help with that is to actually take the other hand and reach straight overhead. And that way, hand, shoulder, shoulder, elbow feels like one straight line. And this arm can help remind you and stretch you up to align you over that. If you want more challenge, of course, you can instead come to your toes, or rather to your feet, in a scissor position. The scissor position gives you a bit of lateral stability, so you get the same kind of feeling there. Alternatively, you can stack the feet for slightly more challenge, because there's a bit more balance involved, as well as the length of the lever there, really bringing it to your belly and your shoulder girdle area. Okay, let's drop down. Let's flip to the other side. Elbow under shoulder, hips to the floor, hammock, no, steel hammock, wooden hammock, straight hammock, non-hammock. If you poke there and you're feeling smushy mush, it's because it's a hammock. You can notice how when I've got a hammock there, I can really dig my fingers right in there. But as soon as I come up, the muscles fight back and you feel like you're wearing a girdle of your own abdominals, which is pretty handy. So if you want to, lift to the knees. If you want to, scissor the feet. If you want to, stack the feet. And remember, arm here gives you stability, gives you something to celebrate with, gives you something to hold onto the ceiling with, just gives you a sense of coolness as well. if being cool is a motivational factor. So, because we got this set up a bit more quickly, we'll stay here for a little bit longer. Go for 5 more breaths. If you've got any music on in the background, you can listen to your favourite bit either starts or is over. 3 more breaths. The good thing with breaths as a way of counting is as you get tired, you breathe faster. So you go, and then bang, it's a great equaliser. You come down just when you feel like you're tired. There we go. So let go of that. And I'll just check what the time is with you guys. So intermission, yes, that's about right. So we'll just do a little bit of stretching before we finish. Into the hip area as promised at the start. So come up and make yourself into a little butterfly. Put your feet together. And you'll find with stretches, if you're struggling, that's great. That's actually great. It's great that you're doing the stretch. Because one of those things, stretches are the most beneficial to those who need it. If you're already hyper-flexible, stretching where you're already flexible, diminishing returns. So what you want to do here is try to imagine landing the butterfly. Opening, you can use your elbows to help. You can also use the squeeze of your own butt cheeks to help. So try to lower the knees by squeezing your butt and then just bring a bit of elbow pressure to help. And as you do, try to keep your body upright and tip forward from the hips rather than rounding down to push through. And you'll feel that delicious gentle warmth through the hip area, which is very helpful. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take one foot and bring it, now if you're stiff, bring it straight in front of you and let the other foot come either this side or the other side, and then we're going to turn in that direction. Or if you can, bring that foot through to your butt cheek, but make sure both butt cheeks are on the floor and you're sitting straight upwards rather than achieving it by kinking off to one side with that butt cheek in the air. So if both your sit bones are down and you can have your foot bent, you can put your foot here or there, anywhere around the knee to get a sense of leverage. Sit tall out of your lower back, relax through your shoulders, and then reaching across your body to the opposite leg. Other hand can levitate you out of the floor. Turn your upper back and upper chest like you're trying to look over the top of an imaginary wall to see what's on the other side. So a spinal twist is only beneficial if your spine is long and straight. If you're crumpled and bent and flexed, you're not getting the same sorts of good benefits. So sit tall. As you inhale, grow taller, taller, taller. And as you exhale, turn, turn, turn. Let the shoulders drop down. And then go for a few more breaths with no expectations. Every time you breathe in, imagine levitating 1 millimeter taller. And every time you breathe out, see whether your body naturally gives way to 1 more degree of rotation. Don't force it, and especially don't force it in the lower back area. But if your body just yields it automatically, gratefully accept it, and see a little bit more of the panorama behind you. Okay, out of there, other side. So to recap, either legs straight and across if you feel a bit stiff in the legs, or foot through the butt, provided you can sit tall, foot on other side, lever that helps spiral you upwards, lever that helps levitate you upwards, tall through the lower back, open through the chest, rising and rotating in that order. Inhale for height, then exhale for free, effortless twist. Then inhale for more height, and let any twist that comes come with no expectation or force behind it. So if you don't get any more twist, don't worry. Just the act of sitting tall through your spine is itself therapeutic and good for your back mobility. So how long can you feel through the back of your neck? Let your shoulders fall down and away. And then one more breath and turn. Beautiful. Okay, just before we finish up, we'll do a quick forward fold. You're already sitting on the mat. Go for what they call stick pose. So I've got a bit of a knobbly stick because I've got some jammed up stuff in my knee, but you can have a straight stick or a knobbly stick. Make sure you get your butt cheeks behind you and avoid this kind of feeling, especially if that's how you really are through the back of your legs. If you need to, take some knee bend, replace it with straightness of back, and then come forward, belly onto thigh, and then just lightly reach, rolling the shoulders back and trying to keep your chest as open as possible, falling through your belly button. And then just 3 breaths of freedom, riding the exhale. As you breathe out, enjoy that release. The light, warm tingle through the back of the legs. One more breath. And thank you for attending yet another home balance class in the comfort of your own home. My name's Andrew. This is brought to you by Monash Council during the COVID-19 heyday that we're in, and hopefully I'll see you in subsequent classes, either for balance or for other things. Do let the council know what kinds of classes you enjoy attending so that we can formulate them for you and bring them to you over the coming weeks. Thank you and bye.